Hey guys, what is going on? So today I'm doing a preview for the Giants-Broncos game. If you guys are new here, I am a Giants fan, but I try to be as unbiased as possible in these videos that I talk about the Giants because, I cover all 32 NFL teams on this channel and no one wants to listen to someone be biased. So if you're new here, feel free to subscribe if you want. Also, if you want to drop a thumbs up on this video, it really helps out the channel, so I would appreciate that if you just went down there and smashed the like button. So let's talk about this game. I'll say this, like I said, I'm a Giants fan, and when I saw this game on the schedule week 1, I thought this was a winnable game. I was like, yeah, that's a nice game, to start things out. I think they can win that game. Fast forward to right now, I am very nervous about this game. I am like, wow, I am scared the Giants are going to lose this game. I have a feeling the Giants might lose this game, and I'm going to be upset because the Giants, well, you know what I'm saying, lose week 1 yet again. But it's just sad losing week 1 all the time because you're so excited for the season, and then your favorite team loses week 1, and it's just like, oh, I was so excited, and I was just let down by my favorite team. But I'm nervous about this game because of the way the Giants' offensive line played in the preseason game versus the Patriots. They did not look good, and now they're gonna have to go up against Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. Like, oh my gosh. Von Miller and Bradley Chubb are making me nervous right now. Those two guys coming off the edge versus this offensive line, I'm scared. That scares me. These two teams, they're pretty similar. The Giants and the Broncos, they both have really good defenses. Their quarterbacks kind of have, the same stats from last season. Their quarterbacks, they kind of played the same last season. They're kind of on the same level. We're going to talk about the offense in a minute, but I just want to kick things off talking about the defense because I feel like this game is going to come down to the defense. It's going to come down to which team can bend and not break for the longest on defense, which team can, win the turnover battle. And I feel like this game could come down to a pick six or a fumble recovery that sets up one team's offense in the red zone. I really think this game is going to be a low-scoring game that is just going to come down to how each defense plays. So last season, these defenses played pretty similar in the passing game. Well, I say played pretty similar. Their stats were pretty similar defending the pass. The Denver Broncos ranked 16th in passing yards allowed, which means they allowed the 16th fewest passing yards in the NFL last season, giving up 3,807 passing yards. And guess who also gave up 3,807 passing yards? The Giants. So as weird as that is, both the Broncos and Giants gave up the same exact number of passing yards last season. The Broncos, they allowed 21 passing touchdowns. The Giants, they allowed 22 passing touchdowns. The Giants had 11 interceptions, and the Denver Broncos had 10. So the stats for these defenses last season versus the pass are very, very similar. These defenses are pretty good versus the pass. I mean, they're kind of like middle of the pack in the NFL, but both these defenses made additions to their secondary. The Broncos obviously drafted Surtain with their first pick. He's going to be a great NFL quarterback. Yes, I know this is his first game, but listen, this guy, he's coming from Alabama. He's NFL ready. I know he's a rookie. Rookies make mistakes and all of that, but I feel like this guy is going to perform week 1. And then the Giants signed Adoree Jackson. He's questionable right now, but I have a feeling he's going to play. But if Adoree Jackson doesn't play, that's going to be bad news for the Giants because this Broncos wide receiver core, they're pretty good. I think they have a better wide receiver core than the Giants right now, just because, we haven't seen this Giants wide receiver core really play together yet. I think the Broncos do have the better wide receiver group. And you need, Bradbury and Adoree Jackson to cover guys like Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler. Those guys are all really good. Noah Fant is also a really great tight end when he's healthy. I know he's had some injuries, but the Giants are going to need this defense at full strength. Well, specifically these cornerbacks at full strength to stop this Denver Broncos wide receiver core. So the Giants, they really get the edge over this Broncos defense in their stats versus the run game last season. So the Giants ranked 10th for rushing yards allowed. They allowed 1,782 rushing yards last season. They allowed 14 rushing touchdowns, and they allowed 4.1 yards per carry. The Denver Broncos, they ranked 25th for rushing yards allowed last season, so they allowed a lot more rushing yards than the Giants. They just ranked way lower than the Giants with their rush defense. The Denver Broncos allowed 2,080 rushing yards, 22 touchdowns, and they allowed 4.8 yards per carry. So what these numbers tell me is the Giants need to establish the run early in this game versus the Broncos, because that's where I think the Broncos' vulnerability, is on their defense, is in the run game. Barkley, he's really not such a north and south runner, but Booker, I think, can be that north and south runner. Just lower the pads, get those yards, get those 3-yard runs, 4-yard runs, and just stack those runs. Even Elijah Penny, he's a fullback, but he was getting some running back snaps in the preseason. Give the big guy the ball and let him just get some momentum and bowling ball his way through those defenders. I don't know how many snaps Saquon Barkley is going to play, but even if Barkley gets to the edge on something, he could take it to the end zone. We know with Saquon Barkley, anytime he touches the ball, it could be a touchdown. But the Giants just need to establish this run with all three of those guys. I don't think they need to just put it on Barkley to establish the run. I think they need all three of those guys to establish the run, especially Booker and Penny just going north and south running. You got to do that to win this game, because if the Giants don't have the run game working in this game, I don't think they can win this game, because then it comes down to them passing the ball versus this secondary and versus Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. That is going to be tough, because Daniel Jones is probably not going to have a lot of time to throw the ball, and then the secondary is going to be covering all the wide receivers. I think it's going to be a mess if the run game is not established. So the Giants need to set up that run game, and they can even try to do some creative things with Kadarius Toney. It seems like he's going to play this week. I think he is going to play officially this week, even though he hasn't played in the preseason. They could try to set up maybe some end arounds. I don't know, try to get a little creative there, but they need to establish the run. And even after they establish the run, then they can try to, pass the ball a little more, do a little play action, see if someone comes down into the box, then you just throw the touchdown. We've seen Daniel Jones, play well on those play action plays. That's when he's usually throwing the deep balls. Last season, first game of the year versus Steelers, the Giants, they ran a play action pass, and then Daniel Jones threw the touchdown to Slayton. It was a really long touchdown. It wasn't like one of those 5-yard curl routes. So either way, the Giants just need to establish the run. They got to establish the run to win this game. It's just so important that the run game works for the Giants versus this Broncos defense, because this secondary makes me nervous, and those guys coming off the edge make me nervous, especially with the way the Giants offensive line has played recently. I mean, I don't even know if Daniel Jones is going to have time to throw in this game. I think they got to bring a tight end in there to block, and they just got to try to run plays to that strong side where that tight end is blocking, so he can get the ball out of his hands, so Daniel Jones can get the ball out of his hands. So let's talk about the offenses real quick here. Daniel Jones and Teddy B, they had pretty similar stats last season. So Daniel Jones, he had 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Teddy B, he had 15 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. I'm so happy that Teddy B honestly won the starting job, because I remember how upset I was when he went down with that injury. So I'm happy he's back out on the field, and I hope he does play well this season. And he has, the wide receivers around him to play well. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, like I said, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant at tight end. Those guys can all get down the field, and I just think the Giants got to, play it kind of simple on defense, because Teddy is not really the guy who's going to throw it so far down the field, right? He's not going to just be airing it out for 50 yards. He's not that type of quarterback. So I think the Giants just need to kind of make sure that they're not having any huge mistakes in coverage. Like, obviously you don't want to have any huge mistakes in coverage no matter what quarterback you're playing. But I think they just need to play the way they played last season. They don't need to do anything crazy on defense. I think they just need to make sure these wide receivers aren't getting free behind them. Jerry Jeudy is a great route runner. Cortland Sutton, he had a 1,000-yard season previously. Noah Fant is a very fast tight end, and he's a big, fast tight end. So if Teddy B starts, dropping dimes, that's going to be a problem for this Giants defense. They just need to make sure that they're bending and not breaking, and that's what they did last season. Like I said, I really think this game is going to come down to the defense. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think this is going to be a defensive battle, and my score prediction for this game is going to be 16-13, Giants winning. I feel like I got to predict the Giants to win week 1. But listen, like I said, I'm nervous. I am nervous. I think this is just gonna be a close game. I don't want to say it's not going to be a very exciting game, but listen, I love offensive football, so I love that Thursday night football game. But I think it's just going to be a defensive battle, a tough game. You know, a lot of field position battles going on, like punting the ball, trying to pin the other team deep. I think it's just going to be a lot of that. And yeah, it should be really fun to see both these defenses play. But I will say this: I am nervous about this Giants offensive line versus the Denver rush. I am nervous. That's my biggest concern heading into this game as a Giants fan. And I'm definitely nervous for this game. So if you're a Denver fan, good luck this game. It should be a good one if you're a fan of defensive football. And that is it for this video, guys. Comment down below. Let me know what you think the score is going to be for this game. What are you expecting to happen in this game? Do you think it's gonna be just like a game where we possibly see each team only score single-digit points? Like, could that even happen? Would that happen? I feel like this would be that type of game. And yeah, guys, that is it. Peace.